to my channel, or welcome back. So in this video, you can probably tell by the title, but we are going to be reading and discussing books that have won the Goodreads Choice Awards from the last 5 years. So as I watched somebody else do this project where they read the last 10 years, I didn't want to do 10 and completely copy the idea. I will link the video to the one I watched to give credit to this project idea, but I wanted to do my own version, and I'm going to be reading the horror category from the last 5 years. So in 2018 we have Elevation by Stephen King. In 2019 we have yet again Stephen King with The Institute. And then in 2020 we had Mexican Gothic. And then in 2021 we had The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. And in 2022 we had Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. Those are the 5 books that make up the horror winners from the Goodreads Choice Awards from the last 5 years. And out of those, I have already read Mexican Gothic and Final Girls Support Group. And I have got Elevation and The Institute in my possession. So I will be reading those, and I need to get a copy of Hidden Pictures. But for now, this is just the introduction, and those are the books. So I will be reading Elevation, The Institute, and Hidden Pictures within this video. So I guess I now have to make a start on Elevation by Stephen King. So Elevation starts with a guy called Scott, and he has to see his friend doctor because he keeps losing weight without even trying. I'm kind of looking forward to this. It's very small and haven't had much luck with Stephen King in the last couple of months, so I'm hoping this might be the change that I need, and that maybe his short stories are going to be better than the stuff that I have been reading recently, but I guess time will tell. So now it's time to give you my review for Elevation. I had read this for a vlog, reading 3 novellas in 24 hours. I'll link it in the cards and in the description if I remember. I recorded my initial review of this book back when I actually read it in May for this project, and completely forgot that I needed to keep the clip, but I deleted it and now I can't find it anywhere. So I'm having to redo this and kind of round up what I was thinking. Basically, this was a really short book that I read in like 3 hours, and I've been reading Stephen King for the last couple of years, getting more into his books again, and this was probably one of the better Stephen King books of the modern time that I've read. But unfortunately, I wouldn't say this is horror. This one, I don't feel like should have won for this year. I'm not entirely sure why people decided to vote for it in this category. I would have put this in fantasy more than horror. This book, without spoiling anything, covers a lot of social commentary, which is what I enjoyed in this book, and it's more magical realism based than it is horror, which is why I keep saying that I don't think it should have won the horror category. It is weird, and it is a Stephen King story, so of course it's going to be weird. And there's a part of the book that reminds me a lot of the uncle in Mary Poppins, who kind of like floats in the air when he laughs. So I feel like it is a really nice story, and I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. I just don't think that it fits within this category. It shouldn't have won in that year. Maybe it should have won for fantasy. I don't think it fits for horror. So I have now just finished The Institute by Stephen King, and my thoughts on this have changed. In the beginning, I didn't enjoy it. It was very slow to get into. I just wasn't enjoying the storyline at that point, and I think I was around 100 pages into this when I was getting very bored and wasn't very sure if I was going to continue. But this did pick up in like the last third, maybe the last half. This book, I feel like, has way too much information in the beginning. There's a lot of it that he over explains, and there's a lot of character development in this. And whilst that's really good and some people really enjoy that, I kind of just, I don't. I'd rather learn about the characters whilst the event is actually happening. But I enjoyed the story around halfway through and it started to pick up. It was actually okay, but I wish the first half was better, and I feel like I would have enjoyed this book a hell of a lot more and I wouldn't have attempted to DNF it, which isn't really like me. I usually push through, and like I pushed through with this one and actually kind of enjoyed the outcome. So the Institute, I don't know if I've already made a clip explaining what it's about, but essentially this is a place where gifted children have gone. We follow a boy called Luke and his adventures through the Institute and his escape plan. So I will leave it at that because it is actually quite interesting, and I really love the elements of telekinesis and telepathy in this story, and how these children are born with it, and this place is trying to develop their abilities. Whether it's for good or bad, I'll let you decide whenever you read it, but essentially the story is interesting in the later stages of the book, and I thoroughly enjoyed the ending. This one I feel like is a decent Stephen King book. It's probably not one of his best works, it's definitely not my favourite, but it was essentially okay to read and I managed to finish it. So then next in this project I will be picking up Hidden Pictures, so I will insert some more clips about me reading that and let you know soon what I think. Bye! I am starting the 2022 winner, which is Hidden Pictures. So this one I kind of think is more thrillery than horror based, but I'm not entirely sure. I know some people have read it and loved it, and other people haven't loved it as much, but I'm excited to read it. I feel like this is different from the Stephen King books that I had to read for this project, so I'm looking forward to getting into this. So I have now finished Hidden Pictures. This is the last book that I need to read for this project. Basically, Hidden Pictures follows a character called Mallory who becomes a nanny for this little boy and the family as they've just moved back from a different country, and the kid is 5 years old, so it's just about to start school and needs some like socializing and stuff like that. So she takes the job and uncovers some creepy things that happen. The kid has an imaginary friend and he draws pictures, and there's like a creepy story that develops through these pictures, and she goes on a quest to find out the truth. And that's the book in a nutshell without spoiling any of the plot, subplot, or the twists. For me, personally, I enjoyed reading this. This was so entertaining to read. I really enjoyed the thriller aspect in here. I found Mallory, the character, to be likable, and I was rooting for her to find out the truth. But personally, I don't think this is a horror book. It does have thrilling elements in it. It's suspenseful, but I didn't feel any dread, and there was a little bit of supernatural elements, but not too many. There was no detailed descriptions as such. We do have scenes that are described like murders and stuff, but like I said, it's written very much like a YA book, so there's no graphic details, so to speak. They're a lot lighter than the other horror books that I have been reading. So that for me then makes it seem like it's not a horror book, it's a dark thriller. And there's a massive twist in this story that, to be fair, I didn't see coming. I was blindsided by it, so I'll give the book props for that. It's such a good thriller, but it's not a horror, and I feel like this should have won a different category. That is my last book and my last review on the winners of the Goodreads Choice Award in the horror genre. So this now rounds out the video. I've had fun doing this project, and I've learned that the Goodreads Choice Awards is very much based on popularity and what books people have decided to read, or what authors they know and love but haven't read their books yet. So I feel like it's definitely based on popularity and not the actual quality of the book. Because a lot of these I wouldn't class as horror. It's just that they have either like hidden pictures, a creepy element, or Stephen King, who is like the king of horror, but has fantasy books in this horror category for the Goodreads Choice Awards. So I feel like it's a bit skewed in that sense. It's still a fun awards to be a part of. So I am looking forward to partaking in 2023's awards. I might have a look and see what books I've read, and maybe dedicate another vlog towards reading the ones that I haven't. But that will be coming out later in the year, so I am looking forward to catching up with that. But that is my video. I hope you have enjoyed watching this and seeing the different winners of the horror category. Do let me know what your favorite book was from this list. If you've read them, I would love to know. So until the next time, keep your pages turning and embrace the darkness. Bye.